Honey badger versus Komodo dragon, clash of the cold-blooded and the crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up, because today we're diving into one of the strangest, wildest matchups nature could possibly throw at us. On one side, we have a cold-blooded giant straight out of a Jurassic Park casting called the Komodo Dragon. On the other, the creature that just might be the world's most fearless furball, the one and only honey badger. Now you might be thinking, wait a minute, that little badger thing, against a venomous monster lizard. Oh yeah, this isn't just David versus Goliath. This is rage versus reptile, attitude versus ambush, and it's going to be wild. Let's break it down. The Komodo dragon is a living fossil, a literal land-dwelling dragon with a venomous bite, serrated teeth, and the ability to take down water buffaloes. Not kidding, a single bite, and its prey starts dying slowly while the dragon follows behind like a slow-moving grim reaper. And the honey badger, it might look like a raccoon in a wrestling outfit, but it's one of the toughest mammals on the planet. Immune to snake venom, unbothered by bee stings, and known to attack lions just for fun. I once saw footage of one getting bitten by a cobra, passing out, then waking up and eating the snake. So here's the burning question. What happens when unstoppable ferocity meets ancient lethality? Can a venomous reptile take down an unkillable mammal? Or will the honey badger, as always, just not care? Stick around, because this battle is going to be tooth, claw, and toxic spit. Size, armor, and evolution, nature's wild blueprints. Alright, let's meet our contestants up close, and trust me, the stats will surprise you. First up, the Komodo dragon. Imagine if a crocodile and a dinosaur had a baby and gave it legs long enough to chase you across a tropical island. That's the Komodo. This beast can grow up to 10 feet long and weigh over 150 pounds. Covered in tough, scaly skin that looks like it's made of armor plates, this creature is built like a tank. And just when you think it can't get scarier, you find out it has venom glands that slowly shut down the prey's blood pressure. Its mouth, full of shark-like teeth that rip and tear, not chew. It doesn't need to finish a fight fast, it just needs one good bite. Then it stalks you as you slowly go down. That's nightmare fuel, my friends. Now let's talk about the honey badger, nature's angry little gremlin. It may only weigh about 20 to 30 pounds, and sure, it's not even 3 feet long, but don't be fooled. This mammal is packed with muscle, grit, and pure chaos. Its skin is loose and rubbery, so even if a predator bites down, the honey badger can twist around and bite back. It's like trying to wrestle a sack of angry jello with teeth, and that skin. Thick enough to resist bee stings, snake fangs, and porcupine quills, this thing laughs at pain. And let's not forget the claws, long, curved, made for digging, slashing, and grabbing whatever it wants. It's not built for beauty, it's built to brawl. So what do we have here? One is a venomous dragon with prehistoric armor. The other is a fearless missile with a bad attitude and a pain tolerance of 0. One is a cold-blooded ambusher, the other is a hot-headed berserker. Here's the real question, will size and venom beat speed and sheer insanity, or will the underdog become the overlord? Stay tuned, because the next part reveals how these two predators hunt, fight, and survive. Hunting styles, venom or violence. Now that we've covered their builds, it's time to talk about how these two wild warriors actually get the job done in the real world. Because the way they hunt says everything about how they might fight. Let's start with the Komodo dragon. This giant lizard doesn't chase its prey down in a frenzy. Nope, it's a calculated killer. The Komodo prefers stealth and patience. It hides in the tall grass or creeps along quietly with those silent, heavy steps. And when it strikes, it does so with surgical precision. One powerful bite delivers two things at once: trauma and toxins. Its teeth shred through flesh, and its venom gets to work immediately, thinning the blood and lowering the prey's blood pressure. The victim stumbles, weakens, and eventually collapses. Meanwhile, the Komodo casually follows the trail, sometimes for miles, knowing dinner is guaranteed. It's not about rage, it's about playing the long game. Now enter the honey badger, the complete opposite in every way. This animal doesn't believe in stealth. It doesn't wait, it charges headfirst into chaos. Snake, it'll bite it. Warthog, it'll fight it. Lion, it might taunt it just for fun. The honey badger's hunting style is pure aggression, fueled by fearlessness and explosive energy. It digs into burrows to flush out prey like rodents or snakes. It raids beehives, ignoring hundreds of stings to get to the honey. If bitten by a venomous snake, it might pass out for a bit, but here's the twist: it gets back up, yawns, and finishes the snake off for lunch. Who does that? And while the Komodo fights with timing, the honey badger fights with attitude. It doesn't need venom. It doesn't need size. It just needs to get close enough to start biting. And once that happens, it's like trying to get rid of a chainsaw with fur. So here's the real kicker: if these two were to meet, would the dragon's slow and venomous style be enough to overcome the fury of a creature that just doesn't care? Can cold-blooded precision beat hot-blooded rage? Stick around, because next, we'll compare their lethal weapons from bites to claws and see who's packing the deadliest punch in this wild face-off. Nature's weapons: teeth, claws, and venomous chaos. Alright, we've met the beasts, studied their behavior, but now it's time to get serious. Let's talk about their weapons, because when it all goes down, it's not about who looks cooler, it's about who hits harder, bites deeper, and survives longer. Let's start with the Komodo dragon, nature's slow-motion assassin. This lizard's mouth is a nightmare factory. Its teeth are long, sharp, and serrated almost like steak knives designed to saw through flesh. They don't chew. They rip, tear, and pull. And then there's the venom. Oh yes. For years people thought Komodo dragons killed with bacteria, but science came in and said nope, it's actually venom glands that release toxins when they bite. These toxins thin the blood, lower blood pressure, and cause massive bleeding. You might survive the bite, but if you try to run, you'll get weaker with every step until the dragon casually walks up and finishes the job. It's basically the reptilian version of a hitman who lets you crawl away just so it can watch you fall. Now let's flip to the other corner: the honey badger. What it lacks in poison, it makes up for in pure brutality. Let's talk teeth first. They're short but incredibly strong, designed to crush bones, tear muscle, and puncture organs. A honey badger's bite might not have venom, but it's so aggressive and relentless that it doesn't matter. If it gets a grip, it's not letting go. Now the claws: oh boy, long, curved, and sharp enough to dig through solid ground, tear apart snake dens, or shred into enemy flesh. I once saw a video of a honey badger flipping over a cobra, pinning it down, and biting straight through its skull. That's not instinct, that's skill. And let's not forget its skin. Thick, rubbery, and nearly impossible to puncture. Even if a Komodo managed to get in a bite, the honey badger can twist inside its own skin and start biting back from angles you didn't think were anatomically possible. It's like fighting a furry rubber band with claws, so who's better armed? The Komodo brings venom and slicing power, but it's slow and strategic. The honey badger brings raw muscle, sharp claws, and a never-back-down attitude. It doesn't need venom, it is the venom in mammal form. Here's the real question: would the Komodo land its bite before the badger claws out its eyes? Or would the badger get close enough to shred the dragon from the inside out? Coming up next, we take a look at who really has the edge in a one-on-one battle. The strategy, the stamina, and the survival instinct that just might tip the scales. Hypothetical showdown: who's got the edge? Alright, it's fantasy fight night, and the ring is set. On one side, a venomous reptilian tank with prehistoric swagger. On the other, a fur-covered buzzsaw fueled by rage, caffeine energy, and probably a grudge against the entire animal kingdom. So let's play this out. The Komodo dragon comes in slow but steady. It's massive, armored, and one bite away from turning its enemy into a walking blood bag. All it needs is a clean chomp, and the venom takes over. That's a one-hit win if it connects. But here's the catch. The Komodo doesn't do fast, it stalks, it ambushes. It waits for prey to run and bleed out. But the honey badger, it doesn't run. It doesn't bleed out quietly. It fights back immediately, and it fights dirty. The honey badger will charge, claw, twist, and bite with no hesitation. It's small enough to duck under the dragon's strikes and get right to the soft parts like the eyes, the underbelly, or even the throat. And don't forget, even if the Komodo does land a venomous bite, the honey badger is famously resistant to toxins. This thing has survived snake bites from cobras and puff adders. So what's Komodo venom gonna do make it more annoyed? And let's talk durability. A Komodo might retreat if the fight gets too heated. It often waits for prey to weaken before stepping in. The honey badger doesn't retreat, ever, even injured, it keeps going like a furry horror movie villain. If this were a boxing match, the Komodo might land a few slow jabs. But the badger is swinging non-stop from round 1. So who has the edge? If it's an ambush in Komodo's home turf, hot, dry, open terrain, the dragon might land a lucky strike. But in close quarters, where speed and chaos rule, the honey badger turns the fight into a storm of claws and fury. Honestly, this might be one of the few matchups where being bigger is actually a disadvantage. Komodo has the tools, but the honey badger has the guts, grit, and straight-up madness to outlast it. But is that enough to seal the deal? Are sharp claws and uncheckable rage enough to defeat a venomous dinosaur descendant? Let's find out in the final round. The final verdict: who walks away the winner? Alright, folks. The dust has settled. The claws have clashed. The venom has dripped. And now it's time to answer the big question: who actually wins in this wild, improbable, absolutely insane matchup? Let's do a quick recap. Komodo Dragon. Venomous bite that shuts down prey from the inside. Armor-plated skin built for survival. Massive size and serious intimidation factor. But also, slow mover, relies on patience and stealth. Not built for high speed, in-your-face brawls. Honey badger, ridiculously tough skin. Immune or at least highly resistant to venom. Sharp claws, bone-breaking jaws, and the fight drive of a creature with nothing to lose. But also, smaller in size, needs to get in close to do damage. Has no off switch, which can be a risk if it charges without thinking, so who takes it? If we're talking about an ambush in the Komodo's natural terrain, wide open space, dry heat, an element of surprise, the dragon might just get a bite in and walk away the slow-burning victor. But here's the thing, that's not how the honey badger rolls. This is a creature that turns every fight into a bar brawl, and doesn't stop swinging until the room is empty. Its toughness, venom resistance, and refusal to quit make it one of the most dangerous animals pound for pound on the planet. And while the Komodo may win the long game, in a face-to-face, no-holds-barred brawl, my money's on the honey badger. Why? Because even if it's bleeding, poisoned, and down a paw, the honey badger will still crawl back up and say, "You thought I was done." So yes, the winner, the honey badger, nature's smallest, angriest gladiator. But hey, that's just my take. What do you think? Would the Komodo dragon turn the tide with one deadly bite? Or does the honey badger's berserker fury seal the deal? Drop your verdict in the comments, give this video a wild thumbs up if you love the showdown, and subscribe for more animal face-offs that nature never gave us but totally should have. Because in the wild, the craziest fights often come from the unlikeliest matchups.